I want to fund the government. I'm not pro-shutdown, but the way to fund the government is not the same way we've been doing it since the mid-90s, where it's one up or down vote on the entire government all at once. We should have separate single-subject spending bills. Kevin McCarthy promised that in January. He is in breach of that promise. So I'm not here to hold the government hostage. I'm here to hold Kevin McCarthy to his word.
And that is House Republican Matt Gaetz of Florida. He's going scorched earth on Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Gaetz and some other conservatives are threatening a government shutdown by opposing a single stopgap measure that would fund the entire government. The battle between McCarthy and Gaetz has become heated. Fox host Maria Bartiromo is on McCarthy's side, and her interview with Gaetz went off the rails when she accused Gaetz of ignoring reality.
I'm saying single subject spending bills. It's the only way to break the fever and liberate ourselves from this out of control spending.
Well, he's doing the 4 bills next week. So
because we're making him. Because we're making him.
He's doing it. So to push now to blow up all of the wins that you all have had now.
Which wins? Please enumerate them.
Well, okay. Well, how about the fact that he has set up a weaponization committee to investigate the DOJ, whether they're involved in a cover-up?
That's
how about
process.
The fact that he has, hold on.
Wait
how
a
about
second.
the fact that he, hold on. How about the fact that he has set up the China Select Committee to keep China to account? And of course, he has launched this inquiry into impeachment, potentially, for President Biden. Is that not what you want?
None of those things are deliverables. Those are steps in a process. Setting up a committee is an end unto itself, only in Washington, D.C.
On that point, Gaetz is absolutely right. When you set up a committee to study a problem or analyze policy, it is a process action. It's the equivalent of kicking the can down the road instead of making a decision about what to do with it. Also, the committees to study alleged DOJ weaponization, China aggression, and a potential Biden impeachment have nothing to do with tackling inflation or boosting the economy. And none of the committee work will examine government spending, deficits, and priorities. For progressives, it would be like having a committee examine Medicare for all without actually proposing any legislation or forcing lawmakers to vote on changes to the U.S. healthcare system. The common theme that unites conservatives and progressives on all of this is the corrupt nature of the political establishment in Washington. Whether it's a Democratic establishment leader or a Republican establishment leader like House Speaker McCarthy, corporate lobbyists have far more influence and power than most citizens and voters. Gaetz noted this when discussing a specific spending bill to fund government border operations.
The Department of Homeland Security appropriations bill was passed out of the Appropriations Committee in June, and yet Kevin McCarthy hasn't put it on the floor in more than 100 days. That is not serious. You know why Kevin McCarthy didn't move our border appropriations bill? Because the lobbyists and the special interests who own Kevin McCarthy want to put us in this position where we're backed up against the wall, facing shutdown politics. And what that does is it centralizes power to the people that they buy off with PAC donations and lobbyist donations. And then the membership doesn't get to make real contributions to that process. I'm trying to democratize it.
To be clear, I support democratizing legislative battles and trying to take away the influence of corporate lobbyists. However, I don't think that shutting down the government and wrecking the U.S. economy is the proper venue to do this. Furthermore, conservatives only seem to care about deficit spending when a Democrat is in the White House. Under Republican Donald Trump, the deficit exploded and Republicans didn't even blink, much less question government funding bills. However, there is a lesson here. Some of the most interesting political battles these days are not right versus left or conservative versus liberal. It's anti-establishment versus establishment. And the battle between anti-establishment conservatives like Matt Gaetz versus the corporate conservative establishment led by House Speaker McCarthy and his allies on Fox News, well, that battle is intensifying. By the way, the anti-establishment MAGA world recently rolled into New York City, and that scene got very weird very quickly.
Proud Boys forever! Forever! Proud Boys forever! God bless them! They're real men who stand up for American women!
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.